Council, if you're ready, we can continue.
Yes, sir. We may take up two housekeeping issues before I start because of the break point. There's a witness that we had on our list, Officer Watkins. Y'all have heard his name throughout. He informed my office this morning that he and his family had a vacation planned leaving this evening. I've talked to counsel for the city, and they have no objection, if you all don't, that when we conclude with the assistant chief, that we call him at what the lawyers would call out of turn, where we don't interfere with his family vacation, if that's agreeable with you all.
I think that's fine with us, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Fine with me.
We're fine with that.
And then the other one is the chairman's informed both parties, one of the commissioners is unavailable tomorrow. And if I may speak for them, they can object if I say it wrong. I think both sides agree that they would prefer to have the complete commission be available to hear it. So if we have to go into next week, we would prefer that than going tomorrow, which would throw that commissioner, I'm not even sure which one of you it is that, so I was going to say it before knowing who it was. So that we would prefer, and if you weren't here tomorrow, you couldn't sit in on the decision making. So we would prefer, I think, both parties agree that we would prefer to have the hearing concluded with a full set of commissioners.
Are you okay with that?
I concur in that.
Okay, all right. If we don't finish today, we will convene again Monday at 9:00.
Good. May I proceed now, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you. Chief Welch, I believe on direct examination, you indicated that the review board occurred around June 20th. Is that correct?
I think it was June the 26th.
26th, I'm sorry, my apology, okay? Now, and that the commission, the review board had occurred before you, now Chief Harris, were individually excluded from the lawsuit, that you had already been dismissed before the review board, correct?
I'm sorry, you confused me there.
Didn't you testify that you were dismissed as a defendant in Ms. Bird's lawsuit before y'all made your decision recommending and having her terminated?
I believe so, and I was incorrect.
Well, would you agree with me? And I marked as exhibit number 50. Do you recognize what I marked as exhibit number 50?
I do.
And is that a order of the Federal District Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas
It is.
in your case?
Yes, sir.
And what's the date, the file marked the date on it? If you look at the top,
Filed on July the 2nd.
now, isn't July 2nd after June 26th?
Always has been.
So did you lie?
No, sir, I was mistaken.
Wait a minute, if you said under oath that that was the sequencing, didn't you?
I did not lie. I mean, a lie is something you tell deliberately, but I wasn't trying to, I'm not trying to purposely mislead anybody. I was mistaken. I was wrong. It won't be the last time.
Well, would you concur with me that you're saying Miss Bird was untruthful when she had the sequencing of when she learned of the gold rims in conjecture? She did learn of them just at a slightly later time than she said in a month later, correct?
There are a lot of other things to take into consideration under that.
Sir, just answer my questions, please. That was sort of a straight question. That Miss Bird said that she thought she was looking for gold rims, correct? And that's why she followed the other car. She thought it was in pursuit of it, correct?
She did say that.
And it is a fact that she also said she first started following that car because she thought it was chasing somebody because it was running code, correct?
Yes.
Now, both of those statements, as far as factually occurring, she chased the car and it was running blue lights, correct? That's a fact that you don't dispute.
She was behind at a great distance another patrol car with lights and siren on.
Okay, so you're saying that her testimony, in your opinion, is a untruthfulness. What if I could, if you were untruthful, you should resign, shouldn't you? Or be
No,
fired.
I'm not being untruthful. I was mistaken. Again, we
Well,
all make mistakes. We're
So
human.
mistakes, if it's made by you on dates and facts, is a mistake, not a lie, but it is a lie for Miss Bird. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you look at the totality of the circumstances, and I think you will see there's a big difference between what she said and my mistake.
Well, you're saying it to show that you weren't biased toward her, so you're trying to paint yourself in a certain more positive light, correct?
I will certainly go with whatever the Civil Service Commission believes here. I believe in them. They'll make the right decision.
Now, you also said that at the vigil, the families were upset because police officers left, correct?
Said there were some people there, including family members, that mentioned they were upset.
And that we had 3 officers who had left, correct?
I'm aware of 2.
Well, hadn't Officer Watkins been there and left?
My understanding, there were several officers that had been in and around that venue, come and gone. But this is about the accusations that we're talking about, the violations, involve Byrd, and we discussed Riddle, but we didn't find that he had any violations.
I understand you didn't find any, but you didn't investigate Watkins, correct?
I didn't have any findings against him.
Y'all didn't discuss Watkins in the board meeting, correct?
If we did, I certainly don't remember it.
And
And I certainly didn't find that in reviewing the case that he did anything
okay,
wrong.
now, you also said that one of the things that you felt that was a violation by Miss Bird was that she did not take a proper route. Correct?
The route that she took without her lights and siren, without having any urgency, I thought was unsatisfactory.
What route should she have taken?
She should have turned on her blue lights and siren
No,
and got
sir.
as quick as she can.
We'll get to that. Answer my question. I didn't ask you anything about blue lights and sirens.
Okay.
You know, I'd appreciate it if you just listen to the question. If you don't understand it, tell me and I'll rephrase.
Yes, sir.
What route should she have taken streetwise that would have satisfied you?
The most direct route available to her with her equipment.
Well, let's get to, no, answer my question. I don't have anything about equipment in there. I'm just asking you what streets. So if you can't tell me, just tell me you can't say it.
I'm not going to, I can't tell you she should have taken a left here, right here, one street. I'm saying she should have taken the most direct route possible as quickly as possible.
Okay, route? You just used the word route. What route should she have taken, in your opinion?
It would have been best if she said she was following Officer Riddle. She should have turned up behind him. He made it through Fifth Street amongst a lot of traffic. If she would have followed him, she would have been right there, and this hearing would not be taking place.
Well, let's talk about that for just a minute. She followed Officer Riddle. He never got to the injured person, the shot person that Pugh had put out, did he?
No, he found somebody else who got shot.
Did he ever get there? No, correct? He didn't get to that person, did he?
He took care of somebody else. You're correct. He went to somebody else.
And he couldn't get through from where he stopped to help that other person to Officer Pugh because of all the congestion on Fifth Avenue there by the park that's shown on the videos, correct?
But we don't know because he didn't try. He stopped to help another victim.
He didn't get through, did he?
No.
So Officer Byrd, do you think she should have turned on Third Avenue instead of First Avenue?
She should have turned up Fifth Avenue if she was following Officer Riddle like she says.
Well, what if when she got to Fifth Avenue, she could see how congested it was and knew that she probably couldn't get through there to get to Officer Pugh?
I would say she should have turned on her lights and siren and followed Officer Riddle just like he did.
So and Riddle took more time to get to where he was going than it took Byrd to get to where she went, didn't it?
Nope.
We'll look at that. You're saying no, correct? You're as accurate on that as you were about the court records.
Well, I looked at the timestamps on their videos. I feel comfortable with my opinion on that, or my math on that.
Well, you know why she didn't turn down Fifth Street? Did she tell Lieutenant Kennedy why she didn't turn down Fifth?
I don't know what her excuse was.
You don't know what she said to Officer Kennedy, Lieutenant Kennedy?
Don't remember.
Don't remember. Now, you said that you kind of concluded your review of the investigative file and then had a conversation with Chief Harris, and he asked you, and I might have this not accurate, to go back and look at it some more, look at certain things. Do you remember that, what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. You're out of order. Doesn't mean you're lying. It just means that you're out of order.
And what you had you tell me about that conversation with Chief Harris?
When I originally looked at the video,
Yes.
he called me and told me that there was some concerns about Officer Byrd being there. I went back and saw that there was video of her being at the park. There was the video of when she arrived at the park. There was video of before the shots were fired and her calling it in, but there is zero video about the actual response, which at that time, the actual response, the route, the equipment, that wasn't a concern right then, a specific concern. When I saw that she had arrived at the park, that she had been across the street, so there was some involvement, at that point in time, I wasn't concerned.
You also, I believe, indicated that she should have gone, at one time you said, I believe, that you thought she should have gone directly across the street and across the park instead of driving around.
She should have.
And so should Officer Riddle,
He also should have.
but you considered her action of not going around as one of the bases of lack of proper performance, correct?
Can I explain that reasoning?
I'll let you we'll walk through my questions with me one at a time, okay?
Okay.
did she do anything wrong by not running across the street?
It would have been better. He did attempt. She did not attempt to go direct to threat. He did. He did go to his car. He did attempt to get into the parking lot. I'm sure you've seen that on the video. He did attempt to get in there, but he could not.
So you would have expected her to get across the street and get into the parking lot since he couldn't?
I would love for them both to have abandoned their vehicles to go into the park on foot, but they did it.
And if they went on, let's take Officer Byrd. You think it would have been good for her to be on foot to get into the park?
It would have been the best practice.
Okay, so that would meant leaving her car, correct?
Yes.
And the equipment that was in her car, correct?
She would have left her equipment behind.
And one of those pieces of equipment would have been her trauma bag for treating anybody that was found to be injured, correct?
Yes.
It would have been leaving her dog if it had been necessary to apprehend a suspect, correct?
Yes.
But that would have been best practices to leave your trauma bag after you had gunshots fired and leave your dog. And what about whether she had a rifle in the car too that wasn't secure because the city wouldn't buy her a rifle secure equipment?
Had she gone direct to threat, we don't know what could have happened or what would have happened. She may have engaged a suspect. She may have been able to make an arrest. She may have prevented somebody from getting shot. We will never know. We can play what if all the time.
My question is, so best practice would have been to leave all the equipment she might need. That's the city's position. You think that would have been in conformity with what your training would be and your policies would be? To
Go do-
leave my equipment, leave everything and run when we're not sure what, because the shots stopped after the initial burst. By the time both of them got back to their cars, there's no more gunfire.
Yes, that's correct.
So at that point in time, you had a shooting. You hadn't, shots fired. You didn't have a shooting at that point, correct?
I would classify it as an active shooter, but with an active shooter, you go direct to threat.
Well, I didn't see anywhere in anybody's evaluation that said that that was an active shooter scene.
Since she's across the street, there are shots being fired, people are running, you go directly to that threat.
Now, there'd be no way that her going across the street would have prevented the deaths that occurred, would there? They had already been shot before she ever even got to her car.
That's correct.
So that wouldn't have, running across the street wouldn't have benefited that, correct?
She would have known that at the time, but you are correct.
But you're doing a lot of hindsighting. If she'd done this, that, or the other things may have happened too. So don't you think you need to look at all aspects?
All I'm saying is the best practice would be go direct to threat.
Well-
We never can predict what could happen. We know what we hope would happen.
Well, what policy directed that the best practice would have been under those circumstances to run across the street? What policy number is that covered under?
It is our active shooter policy. God, I can't give you the specific number off there that talks about.
So I didn't see anybody being charged with violating the active shooter policy.
No, because she didn't do that. Again, that was part of the unsatisfactory performance.
So that cause wasn't listed as one of the reasons for her termination, was it? The active shooter policy.
No, it was not.
So it wasn't really considered, or did you consider it not listed?
It was not listed. It was that violation of that particular directive was not brought up.
Okay, now, let's talk about equipment for a minute. And that's, I believe, your Exhibit 7. Do you have that in front of you?
No, sir. You said 70?
7.
Oh, I do have Exhibit 7. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for that's the emergency operation of departmental vehicles, correct?
Yes, sir.
And would you turn over to page 2 for a minute?
I'm there.
Okay, now I know, I'm looking at it says levels of responses, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been reading number 3 on what code 3 is, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, that doesn't talk about the procedures for using it, does it? The procedures are covered under the next paragraph. Correct?
The procedures are under the next paragraph.
Okay. Now, why don't you read it out loud? Let's read the first paragraph.
Under emergency response,
No, yes, under emergency response.
the police department's primary concern in emergency driving situations is the protection of the lives and safety of all citizens and officers. During emergency driving situations, officers will operate their vehicles with extreme caution and in compliance with our ACA 2737202, which requires that the emergency light bar and siren be activated on authorized emergency vehicles. Driving under emergency conditions does not relieve the officer from the duty to drive with due regard for the safety of all persons, nor will the provisions protect the driver from the consequences for his disregard for the safety of others.
So that tells the officer the procedures to use if they're going to respond code 3, correct?
Yes, to drive safely.
Now, would you read the next paragraph?
The decision to drive under emergency conditions will be discretionary with each individual officer based on the following considerations.
Okay,
When-
let me stop there. So what's the word discretionary mean?
Means they have an option.
Okay. Now, what considerations are they supposed to have while driving under emergency conditions?
When deciding to initiate or continue driving under emergency conditions, officers will consider such factors as traffic volume, time of day, and potential hazard or liability to themselves and the public. Emergency responses shall be made only when the call involves a life-threatening situation or a violent crime in progress. Officers will have sufficient information to justify the decision to drive under emergency conditions.
So it's not, there's no policy that mandated that she drive under emergency conditions, correct?
No, the policy has given her permission to drive under emergency conditions in this
Let me
situation.
try my question one more time. If you don't understand it, we'll pass on. I said the policy does not require her to drive under emergency conditions, does it?
Under this right here, no.
Is so it was discretionary with her whether she drove code 3 or not, correct?
It was her decision, and that her decision is what led to my decision.
Now, you also said she should have operated with the emergency equipment, correct?
Yes, she would have been able to get there faster.
But are you certain of that? Let me back up a minute. There's something just crossed my mind. The watch guard system, you sounded like you're somewhat familiar with the recording system. And did I understand you correctly that I'm gonna call it a disc, it may be magnetic tape, but the camera, as long as it's powered up, is running all the time, correct?
There's a 30-second loop, so when,
You sure
So-
it's only 30 seconds? It stores much more than that, doesn't it?
once it's on, it stores a lot. I was referring to a 30,
That's
it's
the-
always on, and it will capture the last 30 seconds when it activates.
If you- Are you familiar with the WatchGuard term, look back provision?
I think that's what I'm referring to.
And doesn't it provide that you can look back for up to days because of the storage capacity of the disk?
I'm not familiar with that.
Did y'all attempt to even try to get any of the tape? I'm calling it tape, I'm old fashioned. Just bear with my age, probably magnetic disc or something my granddaughter probably understands, but not me. And she's 13, no, 14. Is you didn't bother to try to see if there was any way to retrieve all of the video?
I looked at the video that was there. I'm not aware of any video from days before, so
Did you review the manual put out by WatchGuard concerning the system?
no, sir.
And would that have been available to you?
Well, I take that back. It's when it came out, I went through it, but as a member of command staff, I don't use it. I'm not familiar with it enough to go out and use it. So
And the officers are not compelled to have it making a permanent record at all the time. They're discouraged from doing that, correct?
I'm not supposed to keep it on 24/7. We don't want, private conversation between maybe a husband and wife on there.
Now, and it's to be used, it shall be used to record enforcement-related encounters, correct?
Yes.
And was there any enforcement being done by Officer Berg, an enforcement encounter in the parking lot of the funeral home after the shots were fired?
Yeah, she was responding to a life-threatening situation.
I said enforcement encounter, which is, I believe, is there a definition of enforcement encounter? Under subparagraph Roman numeral 3 on definitions, I don't see a definition of enforcement encounter. So what's covered in training as to define what an enforcement encounter is?
Well, basically when you're doing your job dealing with somebody in which information would be, need to be collected. She turned her body cam on when she was approached by a gentleman in the parking lot. Nothing happened there.
And when he walked away and there wasn't a problem, that was the end of the enforcement encounter, correct?
With that gentleman, yes.
And the next enforcement encounter would have been when she got to the shooting scene at 5th and Maple. That was her next time she interacted with anybody. You just told me enforcement encounters were when you're interacting with somebody that you need to record witnesses or, make an arrest. Correct? So she didn't have an enforcement encounter on Central Landing or on 6th Street or on,
No, I think what I'm alluding to is on letter H, paragraph 4, number A. I'm
Well,
sorry, I can't give you a page.
it says in the midst of it, activate, it says activating it in the midst of a dynamic should be done when practical. It doesn't say when it has to be done. It doesn't say it has to be done at the start of it, as long as it's done in the midst of it, and she did it in the midst of it. So she didn't, A doesn't say she didn't violate A, did she?
Yeah, actually, she did. It says activating the body worn camera in the midst of a dynamic event should be done when practical and safe.
And
Once the
so-
shots were fired and the response happened, we're in the midst of a dynamic situation. She had time to turn things off, so she had time to turn things on.
You say turn it off. Are you saying that, strike that. Have you had any conversation with anybody about this case since yesterday morning before you got on the stand today?
I mean, it's a case we're involved in. We're going to talk about, we're going to meet with our attorneys, what time we're going to be there, yes. But what
Can you
I'm
talk with
referring to,
anybody about it that's another member of the police department, not your attorneys? I'm not asking about this conversations with the city's attorneys, but did you have conversations with Kennedy or Chief Harris or anybody that's employed by the department that's a witness here today or tomorrow or whenever we do it?
I
After
will-
we started yesterday morning.
I will answer your question. I am taking this directly from information from your client given to Lieutenant Kennedy during the interview. That's what I'm basing what I just said on.
Sir, I understand that, but that wasn't my question.
I
If
understand.
you didn't understand my question, please tell me, because I didn't ask you that question where that answer is responsive.
No,
I
but
asked you if you had a conversation with anybody employed by the city of Conway, other than the attorneys from Fuquay Campbell, about your testimony or what they had testified about or what was going on. Anybody did you discuss this case with since yesterday morning?
no, I've not had any contact other than my attorneys. But
You didn't talk with Chief Harris,
about
this case,
this right, no.
your testimony or what anybody had said.
About direct testimony and no.
Did you know anything about what, from what he said, what Lieutenant Kennedy had said yesterday on the witness stand?
And no, he testified and there was a lot to testify to. I can guess and
No,
But-
listen to my
but
question
I've-
very carefully. Did you have any conversation about what he said, his words?
no, sir.
Okay.
Not going to violate the rule, no, sir. I'm just trying to explain to you so that they have the correct information, the board, that the answer that I was providing is not based on anything other than the information that Brittany Byrd provided to Tom Kennedy during the interview. She turned off equipment. She pushed buttons.
And
She told him that.
And was there something on the, did she explain to Lieutenant Kennedy why she turned it off?
She did.
And is that an accurate statement of what happens with the camera as she described it?
Yeah, I don't know. If I
That's-
can elaborate,
If you don't know, that's, you don't know, you don't know. Correct? I mean, do you know what happens when she described what she did?
I have questions about that have not been answered.
And are you aware? Well, let me show you something. For just a minute.
Careful, stop, don't move. I don't want you to fall.
I'm showing you what is exhibit number 33. Do you recognize these?
I have seen this exhibit before, so yes, I do recognize them.
And are these displays from police department dash camera screens? Do you understand them to be?
Yes, I understand them to be.
And they show where you have a button comes up in all these situations, either dismissed or okay, as something you have to punch, correct?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, could you please speak into the mic? We can't hear you from the back here.
I'm sorry, I thought it was on. I apologize.
That's okay.
I asked him, and you can tell me if you've already heard this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand it's the exhibit I just showed him. He agreed they came from police department dash video screens, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that from the Conway PD, and they all have either the word dismiss on there or the word okay. I can read the rest of them, or the commission can, but since he's now identified them, I moved their introduction. Yes, he
can't authenticate.
okay, he can't authenticate it. He just said that, and I guess as assistant chief, he wouldn't know what their equipment was. He identified it as pictures of the screen of the video recorders, the dash cameras, I guess, screen of Conway PD.
As Ms. Byrd did yesterday, may I have a moment of voir dire, the witness regarding the authenticity of the photograph that he's talking about?
Yes.
Mike, do you have any idea where that picture was taken?
No, and I have no idea where it was taken. I have no idea what steps were taken to allow that to happen. No steps were provided to me. I just said that I understand that's what it looks like.
Right, isn't there an officer's name on there, Rachel Keir?
Yes, there
And
is.
so this is not the computer system in Byrd's K-9 squad car, correct?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I can say it was not the car that Officer Byrd used on the
It
date.
was clearly not the car that Officer Byrd was using at the time. It doesn't have a date when the photograph was taken, correct?
I didn't notice one.
We don't know who took the photograph.
I know who took it.
I'll mark it for identification to save time. We'll be here 5 days instead. Chief doesn't know his equipment, his people, his situation. I did ask him another question. Don't ask Officer King. No, there's a mark for identification. You said that one of the reasons this started was that there was rumbling about Byrd's route by some officers. Do you know who those officers were?
No.
Did did anybody bring to y'all's attention, since there was strike that, were some of the members concerned that she did not turn on Third Avenue instead of First Ave, and instead turned on First Avenue as not being going directly there to the scene?
I can't say that. No.
Was there any evidence presented to you as to the distance between Third Avenue and First Avenue? No?
I'm not aware of the distance between Third Avenue and First Avenue.
Was there any evidence presented to you that she disobeyed any orders that day?
I'm not aware of any disobedience to orders.
Did you agree or disagree that Officer Watkins was at least at best misleading in his statement to Lieutenant Kennedy?
I didn't see anything that made me feel like he was misleading.
Did he indicate to you that he had left? Strike that. When an officer is on duty and they're assigned to go to, let's say, Fifth Avenue Park, and they get through and they're going to leave that location, what's the policy about notifying communication that you're leaving that assigned area?
There's no directive that says you have to tell dispatch or your supervisor every destination, every move you make. So
Now, if you're going to stop someplace, get out, have lunch with your family at a restaurant, are you supposed to check out on that you're going to be out of your vehicle having a meal?
if I was going to be unavailable for calls, I would. If I was going to stop in and say hello to somebody, I still have my car, my radio available. I would still be available to answer calls.
So under the question I asked you, if you're going to get out and have a meal with your family, that would be a situation where policy would call for you to notify dispatch that you're at such and such location having a meal, where they knew your status, correct?
Yes, you should make them aware so they know to give a call to somebody.
And not making them aware would be a violation of policy, correct?
Yes.
And so Officer Watkins was out with his family for about 40 minutes or more having lunch and never notified communication. That would have been acceptable behavior.
I'd be very disappointed with him.
Would it be, do you think if the public knew about that would possibly cause the department into disrepute among some of the citizens?
Not as bad as other things, but
Would you agree that sometimes officers, when they don't check out what they're doing, is really trying to hide from where they really are?
no, I say that every single one of us in this room at some point in time doesn't always follow every rule.
When there was no investigation, strike that, did you find any policies, did you discuss whether the events at Fifth Avenue Park and also at Toadsuck Park, that there's no policy lapses on planning to handle those events?
I did not see any policy issues regarding that.
Okay, you're an assistant chief, correct?
I am.
You were aware before that weekend, were you not, that there was going to be that gathering on the weekend of the 12th and 13th?
No,
You didn't know about that?
no,
It's held every year. It was advertised in social media.
I'm 57 years old. I'm not a great big social media person.
Do y'all have an intelligence division that tries to pick up information that may call for police intervention as part of your Conway Police Department?
We have a few officers that do try to monitor some things.
But as far as your level, nobody brought to your attention that there was going to be the gathering that occurred on the 12th and 13th.
The 12th, didn't know anything about it. That afternoon of Sunday, I knew there was an advertise for a gathering. I notified Major Presley. He contacted Lieutenant Matthews.
Was that ever brought to your level for any decision making?
I don't understand what decisions you would be
Well,
looking for.
you know, let's talk about if you knew that there's going to be, you know, over 1,000 people in the park, that there, you know, is a potential for guns, potential for disruption. Would you have the ability to increase your manpower working at that time?
If I had all that information available to me ahead of time, I would try to do something to keep an eye on it.
And this was, they'd been here the year before, same group, same event.
I have no idea, sir.
And if you knew that there's report of people waving guns around, just whether officers had seen it or not, would that cause you to take any action, or should it have caused the police department to take any action to increase the presence of law enforcement?
Listening to the officers' interviews, they did get that information and they went and checked it out and they did not see that activity take place.
Was that information ever passed on to the shift supervisor?
I have no idea. I'm not involved in that.
Would it be best practices that that type of information be passed on to at least the sergeant, if not the lieutenant, about the events that were being heard and observed, where they can make more, management decisions about how to handle that potential?
I said, it's my understanding officers did check that information. It wasn't valid, but they should be passing information on to their supervisors.
So that didn't
It'd be
happen.
helpful. Yes.
That didn't happen by the officers. So would that be?
I don't know that that's correct or not.
Well, assuming for the question purposes, it wasn't passed on. Should policy cover that, or whether training in the future, hey, you get that, make sure your shift supervisor knows it. That would be a trailer. Do you think that should happen?
I think when officers come across information that if they question whether or not a supervisor should be made aware, the answer should always be yes.
That's assuming that no officer informed any supervisor of information about people waving guns around. That could be a policy violation or a policy weakness or a training issue, correct?
I can't think of a policy off the top of my head, but as far as training, it would be something that we could address, at a shift briefing and say, you come across some information that you think is worthy, pass it on to a supervisor.
Has there been any implementation of that? Strike that. In y'all's command review, you decided there hadn't been any training issues identified or needed to be addressed. Did I understand that correctly?
That's correct.
Were you aware that at the same time that the officers saw the crowd running, and it was before Officer Watkins had got the information about that it was caused by people waving guns, that the crowd running had been seen on the cameras at the communications office?
I'm not aware of that.
Just a moment.
Yes, sir.
What officers besides Officer Byrd were discussed at the staff review board?
Officer Riddle, Officer Pugh, and I think just very briefly, Autumn Smith's um, discussed, her approach.
And Alderman Smith was operating in excess of 60 miles an hour through downtown Conway at times without her emergency equipment on, correct?
Not sure you would consider where she turned on her equipment downtown, but she did travel at a high rate of speed without emergency equipment. Very proud of that. That shows urgency.
Pardon, you're proud of that?
I'm proud that she showed urgency to get to a scene.
Well, and if her urgency had, by not running equipment, and she had somebody pull out in front of her, didn't see her coming or whatever, and caused a wreck and got killed, that would have been all right because they didn't have their emergency equipment on?
No, I didn't say that at all.
Liability for the city for that?
There would be.
And you'd have a dead person. And isn't that one of the reasons that by state law, you're only supposed to break traffic laws when you are operating emergency equipment, correct?
Yes.
So she was breaking state law, breaking policy,
Yes.
but no punishment.
As I said before, there's not a person in this room who has not violated some type of
I didn't,
policy at work, but it doesn't mean you have to be punished for it.
she didn't even get as much as a 219, which is almost the mildest form of punishment, did she?
No, again, because she was as quickly as she could with urgency getting to a scene of a mass shooting.
Officer Watkins was not completely truthful, was he, in his interview?
I'm not aware of any untruthfulness in his.
Would you
Interview.
defer to Lieutenant Kennedy's opinion about whether there was untruthfulness or not?
I haven't heard, I trust Tom Kennedy very much. I would certainly like to hear the untruthfulness, but I'm not aware of any untruthfulness in his
Well,
interview.
assume from my question that Officer Watkins had indicated to Kennedy that he left the park and got to about Oak Street and heard the shots fired report go out and turned around and came back then. Assume that was what was the testimony. That wouldn't be accurate, would it?
Now, it's my understanding that he approached from Buffalo Wild Wings.
And he had been at Buffalo Wild Wings for 30 minutes or more.
Now that I have zero information about, I cannot
And
confirm
then he
that.
had gone to Buffalo Wild Wings and had lunch with his family.
I don't know anything about his purpose at Buffalo Wild Wings.
So that wasn't in the investigation file?
I watched his video. His video starts from the parking lot of Buffalo Wild Wings. How long he'd been there before, I do not have that information.
Didn't bother trying to get it either, did you?
That wasn't the focus.
Did you ever say to anybody in the committee meeting, the board meeting, when they tried to bring up somebody else, this is about Byrd, or words to that effect?
I don't recall that at all. No, sir.
No.
Officer Watkins ran code 3 to the scene, correct?
He absolutely did.
Got there expeditiously,
Yes, sir.
got there to help, correct?
Yes, sir.
Riddle, same place that Byrd is. Code 3, right?
Absolutely.
There's a possibility that he could and Byrd could have run across the street. They were literally right across the street from the crime scene, right?
Right.
But Riddle's a rookie, right?
He has a lot less experience than Officer Byrd. Yes.
Bird's 10 years into doing this business, right?
Yes.
She never ran code 3, right?
Never ran code 3.
Right. Autumn Smith, she was across town. Now, she did not start out code 3, but ultimately went code 3, correct?
Yes.
Riddle leaves the funeral home parking lot, comes down Central Avenue, 6th Street, and then directly up Fifth Avenue, correct?
Yes, sir.
He's able to make it up Fifth Avenue, right?
Yes.
And we've seen the video. Cars are getting out of his way because he's running code 3, right?
Yes.
You see the cars comply with his lights and sirens command to get out of my way. This is an emergency. I got to get directly to a threat, right?
Yes, sir.
Bird could have taken Fifth Avenue, right?
Yes.
She could have followed Riddle up Fifth Avenue, correct?
Yes.
She could have gone Third Avenue, right?
Yes.
But she didn't.
No,
right?
she did not.
She went all the way down to First Avenue, right?
Right.
From her starting position at the funeral home parking lot to where she finally gets to the northwest corner of the park, she takes the singularly longest route to get there, correct?
Yes.
If she'd have gone up Fifth, would we be here?
No.
If she'd gone up Third, would we even be here?
No.
You were asked about your and the review board's determination that Bird was untruthful, right?
Yes,
Remember
sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Newcomb asking you this?
Yes.
And this has to do with what I call the gold rims lie.
Yes.
Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Facts that we know. Pew's at the scene on Vine Street, correct?
Yes.
And he radios in something to the effect of shots fired, car with gold rims trying to leave.
Yes. Indicating that it was in around this vehicle with gold rims.
Exactly. Switch over now to Kennedy's interview with Bird, the second one. The story that Bird tells Kennedy is, essentially, I'm in the parking lot when I hear Pew's call in about a suspect gold rims car, right?
Yes.
Second step, I then see a unit going code 3 running south past me at the parking lot on Central Landing, right?
Yes.
And her testimony in her interview to Kennedy was, she then goes, I'm going to follow that unit running code 3 because we got a suspect vehicle, correct?
Correct.
All right. If you've determined that's a lie, correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's work through the steps of why that's a lie. If it had been true, if she were truly doing backup to a unit chasing a suspect vehicle, what would she have done?
She'd have turned on her emergency equipment.
Would she have radioed in, I'm running backup for a unit that has a suspect vehicle that he's chasing?
She should have.
She didn't do any of that.
No, sir.
Did that cause you to disbelieve what she told Kennedy?
Yes, sir.
You were asked about, when you and I were on direct examination, I was talking to you about Wood's performance evaluation. You remember that?
Yes.
And somewhere in there you said something about, by the time the review board convened, I had been dismissed from the federal civil lawsuit, correct?
Yes.
And your testimony on cross-examination was, my mistake. What I meant to say was I was dismissed by the time of the Woods evaluation, correct?
Correct.
And I was asking you about the Woods evaluation, correct?
Yes.
Would you misrepresent and fabricate testimony in front of this commission?
No, and I think everybody here in this room that knows me, that is not my style.
For a number of reasons, Mike, not the least of which is, you know you're under oath.
Yes, sir.
You take your oath seriously.
Absolutely.
You would not violate that oath.
No, sir.
Just like you didn't violate your duty by failing to reprimand Bird because of her conduct or lack of conduct in this case, right?
Correct.
All right. Let's walk through one more time. By the time Bird exits the funeral home parking lot to take that circuitous route to where she landed in the park, right?
Yes.
She had turned her body cam off, right?
Body camera's off.
She was not running her dash cam, right?
No,
And you and I talked about this. We've seen video, but that when she's on 6th Street, she's obviously not running code 3 to begin with, but then she even turns off her cruise lights, right?
yes,
No dash cam, no body cam, no lights whatsoever.
correct.
Mr. Newcomb was asking you about your direct testimony where you and I were talking about in the early stages of the AI that Chief came to you and said, look at some responding officers. And it was early in the investigation, right?
Yes, sir.
And you went and reviewed Bird's body and dash cam, right?
Yes, sir.
And you concluded that she hadn't committed any violations at that point, right?
At that point, no.
And the video and the dash cam that you were looking at was while she was already on the scene tending to the victims and doing crowd control, right?
Yes, sir.
And that was not cause for discipline, right?
No.
You were asked about the failure of Riddle and Bird to run to the scene. Now, and I understood your testimony to be, well, that would be optimal because here's our duty and here's our policy. Respond expeditiously with urgency and directly to the threat, right?
Yes, sir.
And had they run to that threat, they would have complied with policy, right?
Yes, sir.
They did not, right?
No.
But that was not the basis for Bird's discipline, right?
No.
It was her delay in getting out of that parking lot, right?
Yes, sir.
It was not running her body cam, right?
Running a body cam.
Not running her dash cam,
Correct.
not code 3,
Correct.
bypassing 5th, bypassing 3rd, and finally turning up 1st, right?
Yes.
That was the basis for the discipline. One of the bases for the discipline, right?
Yes, sir.
Code 3, emergency, right? When there is an emergency, you run code 3, correct?
Yes, sir.
Code 3 requires officers to respond with lights and sirens, correct?
Yes, sir.
Bird failed that as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Body worn camera you were asked about. The first scene that I saw is Bird's body worn camera is activated during the tow operation there in the parking lot, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's because one of the car owners whose car is getting towed is approaching her,
Yes, sir.
right? And she activates her body cam,
Yes.
right? And we see that interaction, and the guy's like, you wished you weren't towing my car, but, and that's the way that encounter goes down, right?
Yes, sir.
Then she turns it off, right?
Yes.
She activates it when a guy whose car is getting towed, who appeared to me not to be in any sort of anger situation with her, it's like, oh, my car's getting towed. But then she doesn't activate it in response to a mass shooting, right?
Yes, sir.
Does that make any sense to you whatsoever?
No, it's very disappointing.
Body worn cameras under our policy, when and where to record. It requires that body worn cameras be activated in enforcement related contacts, right?
Yes.
Enforcement related contacts include critical incidents, right?
Yes, sir.
Critical incidents, as you and I talked about on direct exam, critical incidents include life-threatening circumstances, right?
Yes, sir.
This was a life-threatening circumstance, right?
Absolutely.
Policy required that body cam to go on, right?
Yes.
Bird failed again, right?
Yes, sir.
Mike, that's all I have. Thank you.
Officer, excuse me, Chief Welch, if, you don't know if when Miss Bird got to Fifth Avenue, she could see?
I think that's done for the witness Welch.
Welch, I apologize. Officer Welch or Lieutenant Welch.
And-
Excuse me, I'm going to demote you yet. Assistant Chief. Was
I
Fifth
think the
Street,
questioning of Assistant Chief Welch is over.
pardon?
I think the questioning of Assistant Chief Welch is over. They've already redirected.
That's right, I'm sorry. You're right.
If we could, we need about a 15-minute break, so.
Watkins.
Ain't bad, are they? But you got me, you know where my next place is?
Yeah, well, see, well, it's a bench trial, and I probably could get the 11th cleared.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You need the chair?
Yeah, the rest of them. Harold. September the 4th and 5th, do you have anything on your calendar? 4th and 5th, yeah. Because my wife's birthday is today and we're going up to Branson. I don't want to get in trouble.
Good, good.
Okay.
On the 4th.
Or are we scheduling? Okay. I'm talking about September. Hear that they're talking.
That would just be an hour though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd just be an.
That would just be an hour tomorrow if we went from. We're not what?
I would just
The week of the 8th, and you're good. Who's out the week of the Thank you, Sarah.
Are you ready for next witness to start? Okay. Mr. Walk, what is your first name?
It's Nathan.
David Wilson, or David Watkins. Mr. Watkins, be advised that you are under oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
It's Nathan, and yes, sir.
Oh, Nathan, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Watkins, please state your name and employer.
It's Nathan Watkins, and it's going to be with Conway PD.
How long have you been a certified police officer?
About 17 years,
And how long have you been with CPD?
2 years.
What divisions are you assigned to work?
Patrol.
Is that the division you were assigned in April?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your shift?
B shift, evening, nights.
I want to start with things that I think we can agree on.
Okay.
The events of April 12th and 13th, 2025, those were advertised or promoted events for parties here in Conway, correct?
Yes.
Kind of known as Lit by the Lake. You understand that?
Yes.
Were you aware of the events on Saturday, April the 12th?
Yes.
Things kind of got out of hands and there were hundreds of cars and problems, correct?
Correct.
Did you know anything about that event?
I didn't know anything about it.
Like, did you assist in any way in relation to those events?
A lot of the stuff was towards like Toad Suck area. I didn't go over there in that area.
After the Toad Suck event where they turned off the power,
Correct.
we had a lot of people that came in at different places. How would you describe the rest of that shift?
We dealt with them throughout the night, just periodically at gas stations, businesses, and so forth from there.
But they were smaller pockets of
Correct.
issues you had to deal with.
Yes.
Was it a busy shift?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
More than normal?
Yes.
So Sunday, were we looking forward to coming back to work?
What do you mean by that?
That's a trick. I didn't mean for it to be a trick question. I know you enjoy coming to work.
Yes.
What I'm getting at is, we knew it was a weekend-long event.
Right.
What were you anticipating for Sunday?
Be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to overlap until Sunday. It's usually kind of like a Friday, Saturday thing. So Sunday is kind of like odd for me,
Okay.
personally.
When did you first learn that Sunday was part of the Lit by the Lake planned event?
During shift briefing.
What information did you have at that time about the conditions out at the park?
So they were just saying that basically everybody that's kind of overlapped from Saturday night, it's pretty much been during the day as well. And they end up coming over to Fifth Ave Park, and then day shift has been dealing with them that day.
And when did you get to the park?
I can tell you exact time. It was right at shift change, I guess you can say.
I had noted an arrival time as 18:59:56. Does that sound correct?
That sounds about right. I'm not 100% on that though.
Close in there. I'm
Yeah, I mean,
looking
if you
off
got the
the,
CAD system right there at the
Yeah.
shoot, then that's it.
might have been a little bit before, a little bit after. I realized that at dispatch, what they're writing down as they go sometimes gets behind an event.
Right.
Okay. So, but it's around that time frame.
Ma'am.
After that, you never checked 1097. Is that correct?
I don't recall that.
And let me put it a different way, because I want to make sure I get this right. I'm not a police officer. Is 1097, I'm leaving?
No.
See, I told you I got it
Yeah,
wrong.
so 1097 is basically when I arrived on scene.
Okay, so what does it mean when we're leaving a location?
98.
Was off by that
1098.
much?
Yeah, you're close.
1098,
96 you're en route, 97 you're there, 98 was when you're leaving.
okay. Did you ever check 1098 from that location?
I mean, what time are we talking about? This is like an
After
all-night.
you arrived at 18:59:56, did you ever check out from that location?
I don't recall on the time frame or time, but eventually, yes.
Well, let me put it a different way. Did you tell anybody that you were leaving, or did you not tell anybody you were leaving and you left to go to Buffalo Wild Ones?
Oh, yeah,
Wild
I
Ones?
told, yes, the officers that were on scene with me.
Okay. So you told officers on
Yes,
scene, but you didn't tell dispatch, is that correct?
no,
Put it a different way. Are you saying that that is incorrect information, or you are agreeing with me that you did not tell dispatch?
so I did not tell dispatch.
Thank you. Shortly after being there, you saw some people running, is that right?
Yes,
We can play the fifth part video. Shortly after being on scene there, you saw some people running, right?
correct.
And part of that, did you talk to a lady who was carrying a dog?
She was walking a dog, not carrying a dog.
Okay. And did you ask her why people were running?
Yes,
And we're not talking like a couple people jogging through the park either, right? I
Just-
mean,
yeah, I mean, just when you start seeing people like running, I don't know how many, but I mean, just
right. It was
catches your eye.
concerning.
catches your eye.
Caught your eye, concerning. We had a large amount of people leaving quickly from this location.
Not a large amount of people leaving, no. Just,
Okay.
there was just some people that were running.
About how many people would you describe that as?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I mean,
More than 20? More than
No.
50?
I would say probably around less than 20.
And what did the lady who was with the dog tell you about why people were running?
Seeing guns.
Why didn't you tell that over dispatch?
I did.
I can approach the witness. Officer, I'm going to show you some of the call log, okay?
Okay.
This is part of CFS number 25-0403467, so that's the call for this event.
Okay.
Up at the top here, we have a time frame. Will you read that time frame for us?
The one you got circled?
I think it's going to be,
Yeah, the one you got right here where it's
I'm
circled.
trying to look upside down as well as read it.
Right there.
Yes, sir.
1859.
And the seconds.
06.
Okay, so 185906, and you're 2309, is that correct?
Correct.
So what did you advise that they have on the radio?
So they say 2309 advises that everyone is running. Can see on cameras this as well.
And that was put in by Dusty York, is that right?
Yes.
Is there any place else on there where you say there's guns prior to 504 advising shots fired? So between 185906, 1946-14.
No, I don't see anything on there. And I don't see the full statement that I told her as well. It's like a brief, I guess you can say a brief statement of what I said.
So you're telling me that she abbreviated and didn't put everything down?
Yeah, I don't recall. So usually it's kind of like Conway, there's several people that are running. It's not gonna be like she's got it on that. So I don't know, like I said, if that's the full, what it was said in the over the radio transaction, I guess you can say. I don't know.
I'm going to break this down for you. This says everyone is running. Did you say everyone is running or less than 20 people are running?
Almost, probably everyone. Oh, no, I wouldn't say everyone. I would say probably people running. Because if it would be everyone, we would be sitting, it would be 20 people. It would have been.
By the
50+
time we're
people.
there at 1859, we have a lot of people there,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Probably 1,000 people.
But it was concerning to you that we have enough people running away from the location that you wanted to stop and inquire as to why.
Right. I just asked her, I was like, so what's everybody doing? She made the person like, they had guns. And so they left.
Speaking of that,
Excuse me, Officer Watkins, could you adjust the mic, because part of yours, thank you, we're having a hard time hearing.
Okay. Can you hear me better? You good? Okay. Here, let me move this camera. All right, there you go.
That's great.
Is that better? Gotcha.
in relation to these events, did you go and investigate anything having to do with guns?
Yes.
And what did you do to investigate?
So I drove around the block. So basically, whenever it come out, there was Riddle, and of course it was me, Riddle, Bird, and Pugh. So whenever the call come out, or not the call, but whenever she's talking about that, Pugh was on the other end, which is on Fifth Ave, and like I believe that's gonna be Maple in that corner section. So he was over there on that section. I made the block through there, as in like to the side. Didn't see anything, didn't see nobody acting, everybody was polite, didn't have no problems with nobody. So, I mean, after that, we come back. Bird, she had the wreckers on the way to tow the vehicles. As she's doing that, I want to say 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes later, there was probably about 2 cars there. And that's when I ended up leaving.
Let me back up a minute. So the lady tells you they're waving guns, people have guns.
Right.
Riddle didn't say anything about knowing about guns. Why did you tell Lieutenant Kennedy that he did?
Riddle didn't know anything about the guns.
Mhm. You just told us that Riddle and Pugh also knew about guns, right?
But everybody running with the guns and so forth, being over there. That was from the very get-go. Everybody having guns.
Right, when you say get-go, what are you talking about?
From the very beginning. Like, they were out there partying and doing all the stuff with the guns.
You telling me that everybody on shift knew that there were guns out there the whole
Well, not
entire?
everybody.
Okay,
Like, so then whenever this first started, there was so many people out there. So what we started doing was trying to prevent this from getting out of hand. So we were literally like just in the area, just making blocks, making sure everything was fine, all that stuff in the.
let me ask it a different way, it may be helpful. We didn't know about guns at all until in relation to you talking to the lady with the dog. Is that correct?
Yes.
After the lady with the dog, which was around 1859 minutes, 6 seconds.
6 seconds. Yeah.
Between that time and shots fired, we have no call log in relation to you saying anything about guns, correct?
So Riddle is beside me.
This is a yes or no. Did you have it on the radio?
If it's not saying on there, then no.
And in relation to these events, you're saying that how you investigated whether there were guns was you drove through the parking lot. Is that correct?
Through the, I guess you say Fifth Ave Park.
After you drove through that park, did you also encounter an individual by the name of Blake Papera? He was with a towing company.
That was later on.
Was it before shots fired advised by Officer Byrd?
Yes, this has been before.
It was after the lady with the dog says there's got guns, right?
Yes, I believe so. Because I think it was, the older gentleman with the record service, then him as well.
In relation to that, did Mr. Papera ask you to go with him up to the pavilions to tell people we are about to tow cars? Come get your car.
I don't recall that.
You don't recall telling him, good luck with that, I'm not going?
No.
Did you go with a gentleman who was with a wrecker service to inform people in those pavilions that there were cars about to be towed.
So as where the cars were parked, which was across the street from the Fifth Ave, the funeral home, and I guess you say the church, there was literally, once they start seeing the wreckers were pulling up, people were coming over, just like, hey, what's going on? And we were literally telling, hey, tell your friends and family that they need to come over and get the cars. If not, the car's gonna be getting towed.
So you didn't think it was necessary to go with someone to inform them? You thought it was obvious? Is that what I'm hearing?
So you're asking if I went over there to Fifth Street or Fifth Ave Park to tell them that their car's gonna get towed?
Yes.
1,000 people.
Yes.
One
Did you go?
officer. No,
and
I did
ask?
not.
Okay.
I stayed with my partners.
But you don't recall a specific request to go with a party that's with a wrecker service, a Blake Papera?
I do not recall that at all.
Was it about 1934 hours when you went to Buffalo Wild Wings?
That sounds about right, close to it.
And you didn't check out with dispatch, right? We've covered that.
No. So we stayed on that call. I guess you could say what our plan was, kind of to hang there until make sure everything was fine and calm and they can hang out without being a problem. So like I said, whatever that time is on there, I mean, I don't know where you got that from, but that sounds about right. But yes, it was me, like I said, Bird, Riddle, and Pugh were all literally sitting at the church parking lot, which is directly across the street. Once everything was calm, I didn't have a problem. Pugh didn't have a problem over there. Of course, like I said, it was me and Riddle and her over in the parking lot. I think there was like 3 cars left out of that entire parking lot that was full that ended up getting towed out. Pulled up to her in my unit, talked to, when I say her, I'm referring to Bird.
Thank you.
Talked to Bird and I talked to Riddle and explained to them the situation when I was going to do it at the restaurant, which I'll let y'all know is my daughter's birthday. I was going over there to give her a hug and kiss and basically say, hey, I can't clear for break because this is going on. I want to be here to help. So once literally I'm pulled up there, grab her, shots fired, I respond.
How long were you at Buffalo Wild Wings before shots were fired?
Didn't even get out of my car.
I'm sorry, how long were you there?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even get out of my car.
When you left to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, you didn't check and tell dispatch, correct? The
Third time, no.
1098.
No.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get the order right.
Okay.
And looking at when the shots fired came out, that phone call, you were at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Correct.
When it starts on your dash cam, I noted there's a woman and 2 children who kind of cross in front of your unit as you're pulling back.
Correct.
Is that your wife and 2 kids? Or?
Yes. It's my 2 kids.
Yes, sir. We could play his dash cam, please. Thank you. Officer, first off. Oh, okay. Well, we're good. Did you see the trooper car? He's now in the median.
Yeah, is that right there to the left? Well,
It was.
okay, yeah, I see. Yes, ma'am, I see it.
That's actually the park that's directly across, or the parking lot that's directly across from Fifth Avenue Park, correct?
So we weren't on that part. It's gonna be like, he's on this side of the building. We were on the other side.
Right. The other side of the funeral home is the parking lot between the funeral home
Correct.
and the
Yes.
church, right?
Right.
It's not directly across from the park. It's kind of diagonal from the park. Is that correct?
Yes.
This trooper, however, was parked directly across in that other parking lot that's directly across from Fifth Avenue. Is that correct?
I don't know where he's parked at, but I mean, from where he's coming out, I'm assuming that's where it was.
I noted when you were up at the light on Oak Street, there's some other material coming out on the radio about multiple firearms. Did you note that?
Not the Tom, no.
Is that because when you're running code like that and everything's going, it's kind of loud and you can't hear radio transmissions?
I mean, there's a lot of things. You're trying to figure out what's going on, where is it at, watching the traffic in front of me. I mean, it's a lot of things that's going on.
Do you recall your interview with Lieutenant Kennedy?
Somewhat, yes.
And you told him that you saw literally hundreds of people just took off running for no reason. Do you recall telling him that?
When?
In that interview. You only gave one interview to Lieutenant Kennedy about these events, right?
I'm talking about when were they running?
Oh, before our shots fired event.
Okay. Hundreds?
Yes. Do you recall telling
Okay.
him it was
No,
literally hundreds of
I
people?
don't recall that. That's 4 months ago. I don't recall
Okay.
it.
And telling him that she's cutting across the street, she's carrying the dog.
Yeah, like I don't recall that.
Okay. Regardless, you can fix it now. She wasn't carrying it. You thought she was walking the
Yeah, I
dog,
mean, yeah.
but leaving the location. You asked her, what's everybody doing? Why is everybody running? She said they have guns up in there. Is that right?
Okay, yeah, I mean, if you're reading what I said in the interview, then yes.
Okay.
I don't have access to cameras. I don't have access to the report. I don't have
Sure.
access to anything since that happened. So
Sure.
what I'm going off of is basically what happened 4.5 months ago
Yes, sir.
and trying to remember like everything word for word. I don't have what you have in front of you.
Understand.
So
Do the best you can, okay? If at some point we need to redirect, I'll be glad to do that. Do you recall telling him that you thought it was Riddle and Pugh that start making their way through the traffic trying to get over there? And that's when the call came out about an accident. And then-
yes, yeah, I remember that.
And then boom, right after that, shots fired. It's just over.
I don't think it was just right after that. There's no. So, I mean, because vague order I remember is after he's working on the accident, I know it's Riddle and I know it's Bird that were over there in the parking lot.
Okay.
We come back over there, or I say me come back over there to her, of course, make sure everything was fine, because I guess she was having a little problems with some guy loading up a car or something like that. So after, once, what I'm saying, they get that squashed, figured out, then that's when we moved on.
When we're talking about the accident, there was one accident,
Right.
correct? And Officer Pugh went to go work that. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Or
well,
was
you
called
said
to
you
work
said
it.
Pugh and Riddle.
What I was getting at was you said, after you talked to this lady and she said they've
Right.
got guns up there, You said, I think it was Riddle and Pugh start to make their way through the traffic to get over there, and
Okay.
that's when the accident call came out.
Okay,
And then boom, right after that, shots fired.
okay.
Is that
I-
correct
No,
information?
it's not like right after that, no. But if you go, I mean, he's not asking, I don't recall him saying, hey, so what's the time frame on this? So I'm laying it out, hey, we show up, we tow in cars, trying to calm it down, there's an accident, he goes there, where's the accident, go back over here, boom, shots fired. It's kind of like laying it out like that instead of
Okay.
going, hey, at 6:58, we were here. At 7:12, we were doing this. It
Well,
was
let
not
me
like
draw
that.
your
It was-
attention to a different timeline, okay? So we know we've had an accident. Pugh's
Right.
working that. You recall telling Officer Kennedy, Lieutenant Kennedy, that when the accident came out, that's when you left to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Correct.
But what you told him was, I left. Do you recall telling him you went to Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yes. I recall. No, let me take it back. I don't recall.
So
Yeah, I
maybe you
don't
didn't
remember.
tell him about Buffalo Wild Wings.
So I remember telling him like Oak and Elsinger, but I'm pretty sure I come down. I can't tell you for a fact if it was saying where exactly where I was at. I remember telling him like Oak and Elsinger.
When you left, and you were, right before you left, you were talking with Bird and Officer Riddle, correct?
Yes.
Basically tell him, hey, my daughter's going to have a birthday. I want to go and say something, give her a peck on the cheek, I don't know, eat wings, whatever you could do. I'll be back.
Right.
In that conversation, you never told them anything about the woman saying there's guns, did you?
I don't recall.
And do you recall telling Lieutenant Kennedy that when I was actually onto Harkrider, or not Harkrider, Oak Street, and within seconds I shot back over there, and that's when I come into chaos?
If that's what I said in the interview, that's what I said.
But that wasn't quite the truth, was it? You
What
were
do
at
you mean?
Buffalo Wild Wings. You weren't on Oak Street.
So Oak and Elsinger, you know where Buffalo Wild Wings is?
Yeah, you have to go down, isn't it off Amity?
Yeah, 100 yards.
But that's not Oak Street, is it?
It's off of Oak Street.
You weren't on Oak close enough that within seconds you just turned around on Oak and came back, right?
Turn around, come.
You weren't on Oak Street for just a couple of seconds, turn around and
Couple
come back.
minutes. Couple minutes, yes.
Okay. So it's not seconds, it's minutes.
I mean, yeah, because you got my pre-record where it shows how long.
I'll pass the witness.
Officer Watkins, Blake Hendricks,
Nice to meet you.
you as well. I'm a little bit confused. How about you?
Yes,
I gather the point of that examination was to say you told Detective Kennedy, Lieutenant Kennedy in the AI investigation that you were at Oak and Elsinger?
yes.
I got that part right? No,
Yeah.
not as a fact.
Well,
but Did
it's
I
not-
hear
y-
Ms.
correct.
Bird's questions right?
Yes,
But in fact, at around that time, you were at the Buffalo Wild Wings.
correct.
Let's talk about Buffalo Wild Wings. It's sort of been portrayed, officer,
Yes.
that you went off duty and decided to go have some wings for about, I've heard as much as 40 minutes was said today. Were you at
Oh,
Buffalo
really?
Wild Wings for 40 minutes?
No, so let it be on the record for this. I don't know what the whole deal is with Buffalo Wild Wings, but we're literally here trying to prevent this party from getting out of hand. We did the best we could. Everything was doing good. Bird was doing good. I mean, we all were. It was all calmed down. I went over there. She come up to my unit. I don't know if you can see it on any body camera or not, but she walks up to my unit with her and Riddle. And I said, hey, it's my daughter's birthday. Like, we're all going to go out here or want to eat. But I told them, I was like, look, I can't do this. And matter of fact, I told my ex-wife then, like, hey, y'all don't need to be around this area because it's getting pretty bad. And I said, let me just pull up, give her a hug and kiss. Told her, I said, hey, there was a vehicle that was getting towed over in the corner. There was one car parked off on the side. But from the very beginning of this, it was completely packed full. I told her, and I said, hey, when I say her, Bird, I'm going to run over here, give her a kiss and hug. She's like, it's fine. And literally, I left that parking lot, go straight over there, pull up. You can see I'm still in my car. my daughter a hug and kiss, and she hears the shots fired. And literally, and I respond.
And then you go full code 3, right
Yes,
at that
100%.
moment. And that's the video we saw. I was checking your speeds out upwards sometimes of 60 miles an hour,
Correct.
right? Full code red,
Yes,
running into some traffic, but able to navigate there.
right.
And then you end up coming into the park at the central landing. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Back to Buffalo Wild Wings. Tell us one more time, how long are you there?
It's not very long. I mean, like you said, you can literally see me in my car. My camera is still, so it turns off after a certain amount of minutes or whatever. I'm literally pulling up, giving her a hug and kiss and saying, I love you. I'm sorry I can't be in here. We got things that we got to do.
Yeah.
And is what I always say.
Yeah.
And literally, my daughter has a doing that. She can hear pop, 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 pop.
Right.
Hear, and then I hear her over the radio. So
So you're working the tow operation to try to get this party manageable, right?
and it's not me. It's literally all of us.
Yeah.
The east side, there was 4 officers that were on duty. You got 4 officers trying to deal with 1,000 people
Right.
and doing the best we can. And I thought we were.
Yeah.
And to me, my opinion, and didn't have problems with the public. They were being polite to us.
Yeah.
You know, Bird, she did great. She was, trying to call them, all of them trying to get towed and stuff. But-
Yeah, so let me ask you this. You know why we're here, right?
Correct.
Brittany Bird's been terminated from the
Yes.
police force, right?
Right.
And it was because of her conduct in responding to the mass shooting.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
All right, you've been asked lots of questions about the party that you'd gone through and driven through, right? You
Right.
didn't see any guns, didn't see any drugs.
Didn't see drugs.
I think you said people were polite.
Yeah, there were several of them were. And they, explained, like, we try to keep it down. And I was like, that's all we ask.
Can you think of any reason why that information is relevant to a determination of whether Brittany Bird was properly terminated because of her response or lack thereof to the crime scene?
Right? Just trying to get the heat off of her.
I agree. Now, regardless, since they opened the door, I gotta go down a little bit more, okay? All right, so you end up driving through, you see no cause to shut this party down, right?
Not the time. No, sir.
Right, and then there's the story with the lady with the dog, right?
Correct.
People running, something about guns, right? And you investigate.
Right.
And there's nothing found, right?
Nothing's found.
You went to the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy, right?
Right.
Alita. And I used to teach there. I know we teach constitutional law there, right?
Right.
And you were taught about the First Amendment.
Correct.
And the First Amendment provides freedom of religion, right? The big ones. Freedom of speech, all right? Freedom of the press.
Correct.
Freedom of assembly,
Right.
right? It is a constitutional right to be able to assemble. And that's what this was an assembly, right?
Correct.
Do you think you might have violated the Constitution had you guys gone in there and shut down this party without just cause?
There's no way we could have.
All right. So that's the first part of it, it seems to me, Officer Watkins, is let's dispose of this. What's not relevant to why we are here today? So let's get to why we're here today. And I think those points have already been made. You're going there to hug your daughter because it's her 9th birthday, right?
Yes.
And that basically is like that. Then there's shots fired.
Correct.
You don't go in.
No.
You don't have a wing.
You can get out of my car.
Yeah. And then you're off.
Correct.
Full code 3.
That's exactly what I told her and Riddle.
Yeah. I think there was an issue I got confused on. Oh, it was, you didn't call, and I don't know whether this is disputed or not, Officer Watkins, but it is alleged anyway that you didn't notify dispatch that you were going to go leave that little tow operation, right?
No, that is correct on that. Because our plans were, as we talked about this, like, we're going to sit out here, make sure everything's fine. Because
Yeah.
we know how it is. You show up, everything's fine, everybody's good.
Yeah.
You leave, pop down there dealing with it. So what we were going to do, as long as the calls were low, we were going to try to be present and where everybody can see us.
Yeah.
And do it from there. But yeah, no, I did not check 98 from there to go over there. And I explained that to her and like I said, Riddle as well.
And I think you said on direct examination that the tow operation was basically shutting down, that
But
there were
it
only 2 or
was.
3 cars left.
Correct.
Okay, and so it's like, guys, it's my daughter's 9th
Yes.
birthday.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go give her a hug at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Correct.
Be right back.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so every time that you're on duty and you pull into the come and go to get a drink while you're on duty, are you supposed to notify dispatch?
So I've heard it both ways. I don't, but if I'm going to be in there for a long period of time, then I'm going to.
Well, for sure. If you're
That's the thing, you know, or when I say long period of time,
Yeah.
that means going in there, use the bathroom, going to get a drink, kind of lingering around. But if I want to literally just go in there, just use the bathroom, no, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm over here.
Right.
Now, I do hear officers saying that all the time, but
Mhm.
me personally, I do not do that.
Unless you're gone for a long time, essentially going off duty, right?
Yeah.
Then it's
Oh,
discretionary
oh,
whether you let
correct. Yes.
dispatch know, hey, I'm gonna go get a Coke
Right.
and pop in here, or I gotta stop and use the restroom.
Right. Correct.
That's gonna muddy up dispatch with useless
Oh,
information.
100%.
right? Got it. Talk to me about. All right, we've seen and we know your response and frankly how effective it was. All right. Y'all are then on the scene after, and you came on shift at 5:30, right? 5:30 p.m. on
Yes, sir.
Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And when were you off shift? How long does your shift last?
To the end of the morning, 5:30,
Till
12 hours.
5:30. It's
Yes.
12-hour
Yes.
shift.
I think we kind of hang over a little bit after that because it's a long night, but yes.
Yeah. Things end up winding down at the crime scene, right?
Yes.
And I'm assuming it's turned over ultimately to CID.
Correct.
And they're going to do their investigation and collect shell casings and all that.
Yes.
Okay, that's all going on. You get back to the police department. It's going to be early morning, 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning when you get back to the PD.
Easy.
Brittany Bird decides to show you Officer Pugh's dash and body cams.
So she made a couple comments about how his reaction to the shooting, like her response or his response and statements that he made about the muzzle flash and so forth. But yes,
Why?
Objection, Your Honor. I think that calls for speculation.
Based
This is
on-
also outside of scope. but
Based
I will
on,
let that go.
based on the facts you observed, what is your opinion?
to be honest with you, that'd be kind of a hard. I don't know if it's just a simple fact of like, hey, look at him.
Mhm.
Now thinking about it or seeing after all what's going on.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's just kind of like, hey, you need to look at this guy.
You testified earlier that in your opinion and your view, that all of this about should that party have been shut down,
Right.
all of that goes outside of the scope of whether Bird's response was appropriate or not, that was to deflect blame
I can see that 100%.
on having her review people's dash and body cams.
Yes.
Do you draw the same conclusion?
Yeah, I can see that.
1 second. Thank you, officer.
Let me get this right. Officer Watkins, you saying that you thoroughly investigated whether or not there were guns at that party, is that correct?
What do you mean by thoroughly investigated?
Did you go and look and see if there were guns?
So not going up individually? No, but up and looking around? Yes.
Did you walk around the party?
A party of 1,000 people that do not like cops? No.
I don't blame you. And you said that after you looked and you drove through and you didn't see anything, so you left, right?
So I come back, well, I was talking to her.
Okay, right. Talk to the Bird and Riddle.
Yes. Then I left. Yeah,
We
went
can
to,
note that it's around 1934 when you leave. I think this is about it. We can show a little bit of segment of that. Thank you for pulling that up. Is this you in the car?
yes.
I call every vehicle a car, so forgive me.
I don't know if that's mine or not. Go back to where it's, 'cause I don't,
Well, Pew's working an
okay, yeah, that
accident.
makes sense, yeah. Well, what's throwing me off was the lots. Certain units had the little flashing up there, so that's all I wanted to make sure. But now seeing this car off to the side, yes.
Okay, so that is you. So at least 1934, that's when you leave to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, correct?
I don't know if I left straight from there or not.
You didn't go anywhere else on that scene though, right?
What do you mean that scene? Like that
On
area?
Fifth Avenue, yes, sir.
I mean, that makes, coming out, yeah, that would make sense, yes, going over there.
So yes, you were going to Buffalo Wild Wings? And then our shots fired are at 1946 is when she starts that on your dash?
1946?
Mm-hmm. Even,
That
and
sounds
then I
about
think
right.
1946-14 is radio time.
That sounds about right. It was confusing me because there were several cars that were similar, so I want to make sure we're on the
Right.
same one that's getting towed. But
Bottom,
yes,
bottom line is you left 1934
okay. Yeah, that
and
makes-
went to
that-
Buffalo Wild Wings, correct?
That makes sense,
And our
yes.
shots fired were at 1946
Okay.
per dash. Is that
Okay.
right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the sheet like you do. So if that's what the CAD says from dispatch, then yes.
Okay,
believe on
thank you.
that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we have 12 minutes that you are not on scene.
Okay.
In relation to that, you had just told them that basically you went through, people were polite.
Yes.
And why did you feel the need to tell your wife and kids it's getting out of hand, stay out of the area?
But, I mean, look, the party.
You just said everybody was polite and kind and wasn't out of hand.
But it's always like that until it's always going to escalate. When it's throughout the night, it's going to blow up.
So you
As if
knew,
that
well, we should say that. We don't know what the future's going to hold, but certainly
nobody does.
we can think about what are we used to experiencing. You've been a police officer, how many years did you tell me?
17.
17 years, yes, sir.
Mhm.
That you kind of thought, if it's like a lot of other parties we have, once somebody even tells me there's guns, bad things are fixing to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Not all times.
Right, not all
Look,
the time, but
Yeah, majority of the time. Once you start getting alcohol and you get a lot of people getting their feelings, yes, it eventually escalates midnight, stuff like that.
and so we now have information from the lady with the dog that we had a problem and there were guns, correct?
Yes.
And the concern is what you transferred and told your wife and kids, which was stay out of this area.
Correct.
Who didn't know was Officer Byrd and Officer Riddle when you left. Who didn't know was radio dispatch.
You're
that
beside me. We're discussing all this stuff.
You telling me that Byrd and Riddle were beside you?
You just seen, we're all sitting around here talking. We're discussing everything in general, what's going on.
Oh, that was where you told them you were going to Buffalo Wild Wings because it was your daughter's birthday.
I
Are you
didn't
now
s-
telling us that you told them there were guns and the lady with the dog told you there were guns?
Okay, so I didn't say that, so don't try to reverse my words. When I'm
Okay.
telling you, we're sitting there having a conversation about everything in general.
Okay,
We kind of like, hey, this is what's going on. It's calmed down. I'm going over to see my daughter for her birthday.
okay.
Okay, so I go over there. I'm there for a couple minutes. Shots fired. I go to the scene. I don't go a different route. I go to the scene and start helping victims.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir. What I'm looking at is that we had officers there that you left that did not know the lady with the gun comment. The lady with the dog and told you about the guns.
so I don't know what they've told you. I'm just telling you what I know. So you need to
You
ask
did
her.
not, no, I'm asking you.
Okay.
Did you tell another officer before you left to go to Buffalo Wild Wings that a lady with a dog told you there were guns on scene?
Once again, she was right there with me when everybody was coming across the road and telling us all this
This
information.
is a yes or
There
no.
was, I'm answering your question.
You need to answer it with a yes or a no.
Okay. Did I personally say, hey, they're running with a gun in their hand or guns or whatever?
Yes.
No, I
Did you do
didn't.
that?
No, they're literally right beside me. They're right here.
Let's be clear. Are you saying that Officer Byrd was on hand with you at that 1,859 minutes and 6 seconds marker And shortly after
I
that,
can't tell you exactly what times we are.
okay,
We're literally, we respond there, we're there together.
let's back it up.
Us three are sitting over there.
The time frame that you got there, we've established, right? We looked at the
Yes.
CFS report.
Correct.
Shortly after that, we looked at the time frame that you noted on radio that people are running and they can see it on camera as well, correct?
Okay, yes,
After that time frame, you saw a lady with the dog and asked her,
yes.
who was with you when you had that conversation with the lady?
Riddle and Bird. They're right there. I mean, literally, we're right here. We're all, like, she's here, like Riddle, or a Pew is, or a Riddle, and then it's me. They're coming across the road, and they were just walking. We're like, what are you doing?
And why did no other officer tell Lieutenant Kennedy anything about that comment?
I don't know.
Are you lying or are they?
I'm not lying.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
I'm out of bats, right?
Right.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Your Honor, unless there's another question from the commission, I'm through with questioning this individual. He was under my subpoena. I have no objection to him being released so he can do his vacation with his family.
Very good.
Thank you for letting us call him out of turn. Thank you, counsel.
And if I may, I was going to make a suggestion regarding the next round of witnesses. So the next one, I see we're approaching 4 o'clock. The next one will take quite a bit of time. And I don't want to break him up between today and when we reconvene.
Yes.
So I would rather, just a suggestion, maybe break for the day. And then when we start back on September 8th, I start with him and you get his complete testimony.
That sounds good. We are breaking for the day, and due to some scheduling and everything, we will not reconvene until September the 8th at 9 a.m. So thank you.